do want to bring up our panel. So it's going to be a 15-minute panel led by my friend Justin. Justin, how's it going?
What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm good. For those who don't know me, hi, I'm Justin, and I'm stuck in a closet.
Yes. I like the setup. It looks good.
Thank you.
All right. So, Justin, we'll bring up your panelists, and it's your 15 minutes after that.
Oh, your audience is going to hate me then.
Got it. All right, man. Yours to take over.
Thank you so much. What's up, everybody? Thank you, Matt, Kevin, for giving me the opportunity to host this panel here for everybody. We have two special guests that we're bringing on, Mr. Kyle Spooner and Mrs. Dawn Sizer, talking about community. Let's just kick this off right now. Hi, my name is Justin Escar. I own Virtual Computers. We are an Apple consulting agency. I know that seems really weird amongst all of you out there going like, what's a Mac? That's so easy. Yeah. We'll get to that later, maybe on the Zooms. But let's talk about community. Kyle, Dawn, how are you? I would like both of you to give like a one line about who you are and what you have for breakfast this morning. Dawn, you go first.
So I'm Dawn Sizer. I'm the CEO of Third Element. We are an MSP in South Central PA. We do not do Macs like most normal people. And breakfast this morning was a chocolate peanut butter smoothie, and my husband made it, and it was delicious.
Nice.
My name is Kyle Spooner. I work for an MSP out of Baltimore. I'm the director of operations, Galden Telecom Technologies. I'm also the vice president of MSP Geek, a large community for MSPs. And I had tea for breakfast.
These are healthy breakfasts. I feel really bad having a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel, but I am from New York. It's kind of how we roll. All right. So we wanted to bring everybody up today to talk about community. So Kyle, you run MSP Geek. Dawn, you are in charge of Tech Degenerate, right?
I don't know that I'm in charge. Maybe wrangle a little bit every now and then, but yeah, one of them. How's that?
That works. So let's just kick this off with a big one, which is, why are these communities so important to MSPs? What brings it all together, and why should someone who owns an MSP or a part of an MSP be a member of one, if not both, or all of these communities? Because there is a lot to choose from, right?
Sure. Kyle, do you want to go first?
Sure. Humans are social animals. We're creatures of habit. We like to converse. We like to do things like get on a podcast on a Friday and have a conversation. So it just kind of makes sense that we gather in our interests. And for some reason, in managed services is a deep interest for a lot of people. So we just group together and talk about our work life, even during non-work hours. And I think it's important to join these communities, regardless of where it's at. Find your niche, your group of friends, and see where they've solved problems that you have before. That's what people have blazed trails before, right? I mean, Apple didn't invent the smartphone, but they revolutionized it, right?
Yeah.
Why can't you do the same thing? Someone else is going to do something you did. Just take what they're doing and make it better. That's the whole premise of at least our community.
So from the other aspect of this, I think any type of community that you're looking for people of like minds, whatever that scenario is, whether it's business related, whether it's social. It doesn't really matter what the angle is. It's just that you're looking for people with like interests. So I think that the Tech Degenerates, as far as that goes, we're a way to blow off steam, right? Because we live in a very, very let's call it it's a high pressure scenario for a lot of us. A lot of times there's a lot of stress involved, and being able to blow off steam, have somebody to talk to. The mental health aspect is very important within the Tech Degenerates, and I think that's something that we haven't addressed previously, and we're starting to address it more and more. So I think that part of the community is something that's been underrepresented for a very long time, and it's starting to become represented, especially with the Degenerates.
And that's awesome. We, as an Apple consultant, we're members of the Apple Consultants Network, and we have that group, and we have the Mac Admin Slack, and I run a conference for business for Apple consultants. So I have my friends there, and just like you were saying, John, like that mental health thing is so important. There are days like literally 2 nights ago, I was solo parenting. My kids were fighting over dinner, and I have a CEO who's flipping out because he can't use his machine, right? And I was like, luckily the client knew he knows I got little kids. He has little kids, so he understands. So when I was like, can I put you on hold for a minute and like mute him and go yell at my children to go eat their dinner, come back and like finish the machine, at the end of that, that's really draining. And it's good to have friends who I can talk to. I can call another consultant and be like, dude, I just went through this thing. And he's like, and they feel for you, right? They like empathize with you, which is really, really important. Kyle, you were touching on with your community, sharing that information amongst other people. How much of that do you feel is like, do you think there's a lot of people who are like, no, I've come up with these ideas and these are my price points and this is how I'm doing stuff. Like, where is the benefit in that person wanting to share? How do we get that person to want to be a member of the community and get that information out there?
It's a good question. And the answer is to help. I mean, you're going to have problems that someone else can solve for you, even though the information you've solved for your business need and your technician need or whatever need you may have. You're going to have a problem. We're all managed services, right? I know I have problems on a daily basis. You're going to come up with some. They'll be able to solve those. So getting in and answering questions that you feel you can be an expert in gives you a different feeling than watching someone grow and watching someone, the light bulb trigger in their eyes. That type of feeling is what I try to encourage to get those to share that information.
That's awesome. And then John, for your group, talking a little bit more about that mental health, right? That's something that I think a lot of MSPs, that's a newer topic for a lot of MSPs to get through. How do we engage more and try to have other MSPs open up as much as we would want them to like get to that point where it's okay to share?
So I think we all start by showing up authentically, right? Show up as your authentic self and just be who you are, find your tribe and start sharing. I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, it's no different whether it's the personal side of this, the mental health piece of it, or whether it's the operational maturity side when you're showing up authentically with your operational maturity that says, this is my secret sauce and I can share it with you, because you're not going to take my secret sauce and do a whole lot to it that it's going to make any difference one way or the other, right? So I think it's the same vein as far as that goes. It's just a matter of it's a slightly different twist on it, with it being the mental health aspect. So show up authentically, be yourself, find your people, and start sharing, start talking, and start having those really important conversations about how we can all move onwards, upwards, and do it together.
And I think that authenticity is really important also for on Kyle's group, right? Because we don't want people coming in there or in any community being in there and spoiling it for everybody, right? That authenticity is really important. Kyle, how do you ensure that in authenticity, or can you ensure that authenticity?
It's extremely evident if you're not authentic in your communication within our community. It is something that's fascinating, just watching interactions within the group and just seeing someone just have a quick conversation and then everyone else is like, this doesn't seem right, and reports happen and other conversations happen, and they just kind of set themselves up to show that they're not authentic, and the community just jumps on them and is like, hey, this isn't a place for you to be like unauthentic. We want your realness. We want you to be real, have a real conversation with us. A lot of times that generally happens with some of our newer vendors who join our community because we're not a sales focused place. We want you to build relationships with your user base and then with our community as well. So a lot of times we have to be like, hey, look, they want real interaction. They don't want a sales pitch. And that generally they generally self-police themselves, which is kind of interesting to watch.
I see a big uptick in MSP communities putting that big blanket line, like no sales pitches, right? That's part of the crux of what channel programs is and things like that. And I find it funny when I'm very authentic about, and John, I think you're going to like this one, where I tell someone, they're like, how do you deal with this? And I'm like, well, there's a couch over there that I go cry on almost every night. And I have a drawer full of like pills that my doctor prescribed me to like handle my job. And most people think that I'm just being self-deprecating and funny, but like in reality, sometimes that's important, right?
It is. And we've had the joke recently of, someday we're just going to go buy a hot dog stand, and that's how we're getting out of the MSP industry, right? So I think it's endemic in the way that everybody talks about, whether it's you're crying on your couch or it's a hot dog stand and I'm selling margaritas on the street corner, whatever that looks like for you. I mean, we all have, again, you need to blow off that steam, whatever that looks like. And there's going to be other people that feel the same way that you do and that can empathize and can be a part of that group that you're surrounding yourself with. And you absolutely should do that.
Yeah, we picked goat farming.
Oh, nice. I love it.
If I had to do, I don't know if I would do a hot dog stand. Hot dogs are pretty famous in New York. I don't want to put up with that kind of competition. I feel like that's a tougher competition route than being an MSP.
Yeah, but that's New York. It's
Yeah.
it only affects you people. You guys can go the goat route there. It's fine.
Yeah, goat
Put 'em on the
farming in New
roof.
York City. So I mean, Matt, you're gonna have to jump and tell me how much time I have. But Kyle, where can people join your community? What is your 4 minutes? Okay, cool. We'll make it work. Kyle, tell us a little bit about the MSP Geek. Where can people join it? And like, what would be the number one thing somebody who's joining should say first?
So you can find MSP Geek at mspgeek.org. We are an official nonprofit organization. You can visit there and join all our Discord, Slack, forums. We just crossed 28,000 members total registered accounts, which is great. Thank you. And the first thing I would, hi, how are you? Just to, lurk. A lot of our community lurks and just listens to the conversations that happen. But if you want to participate, just say hi.
Awesome. And Dawn, what about yours?
So you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Facebook, all of your favorite socials. If you can find any of the degenerates, we will happily invite you into our little enclave. We'll call it that. We do have a Signal channel that you can join at any point in time. And it's the same kind of thing. Say hello, show up authentically. We'll be more than happy to chit chat, help, whatever we need to do to make sure that you're having a good time.
And the same for us over with ACES Conference, where you can join our Slack. And again, we always prompt people to talk, and we know there's a lot of people who to use Kyle's word, lurk. I think I'm gonna go on a limb here and say for both MSP Geek and Tech Degenerates that we're all welcoming communities. We want you to say hello. Like, it's cool if you're not like that. And a lot of MSPs by nature are introverted people. Not everybody can get up here and be like, hey, look at me, this is what I'm doing. But you don't have to be that to be a member of the community. You don't have to be that to be authentic, and you don't have to be that to ask questions, right? That's what I think the goal here is of this group is to say, like, even if you're not super comfortable with it, come in, say hi, ask people what they had for breakfast. It's a great icebreaker, right? And then just lay it out, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we typically, for me personally, I like to give first before I ask, right? Because that's always a great way to get something started. So it's that little bit of, again, I'm going to come back to the operational maturity thing, but if you can, introduce yourself. That's a give in and of itself. That introduction is the give. And if you need something, then ask.
Yeah.
Participate in some of the stealth conversations that are happening, even if it's not official. Like if a random or a games channel or whatever, find something where you can feel like you can easily start participating and begin the discussions. People will welcome you surprisingly quickly. It seems like a lot of stress when you have to type those hey, how are you, but it's actually really simple. They're really welcoming in most of the communities I've been, especially in the MSP space. Oh,
I think our toast is done. I think I recognize what that bell is. Matt, come on back up for a second. I got a question for you real quick.
Sure.
How could people, I mean, most people who are watching this are already members of the community, but how can people interact with the channel programs community?
So technically anybody who's watching this inside a portal is part of channel program. I mean, right now, I think the biggest way they can give back to the community is providing their honest feedback on products. You know, we have over 2,500 product reviews. You have to put your name on it. It's not like Reddit. And it's an opportunity for MSPs to be able to see what their peers think of different products. We see that I'm sure in both communities. It's talked about all the time. You know, what technology you're using for this and that, but we have it in a single place where an MSP can really go by product category and look at the different feedback. So I think that's one of the easiest ways to interact. And the other piece, you know, we have the most consolidated industry calendar. So you have the ability to see almost everything that's happening in the channel, down to the webinar level, down to the demo days, whatever it is, we're putting that into the calendar. So it's just making everything more visible to MSPs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Don, Kyle, I want to thank you both for joining me here. Again, Matt, Kevin, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk about communities. If you haven't already joined an MSP community other than Channel Program, do check out Tech Degenerates. Do check out MSP Geek. There's a lot out there. I'm sure if you ask questions, you'll find you'll find your tribe. You'll find your people. Go join them and ask questions. Say hello. And that's it.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you all for participating, and Justin for being the moderator. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well done.